I just started spending a lot of time, in my room. I was a kid that would be drawing and painting in his room, making imaginary movies, doing things I did, and that just continued. I just got, it didn't occur to me until very recently, like 10 years ago, that was a real advantage I had. I never really considered being either an actor or an artist. Those were the two things all through my childhood and teenage that I thought of, and pretty much by 18 I was decided. I started drawing Disney characters. This was one. I can show you a very early influence. Let's see, it's in here. There was a reproduction of this in an elementary school where I was. This started my love affair with ink. I used to go and look at it every day in the school, and I'd go home and try to make documents like this. And that started my relationship to India ink. I was very surprised when I first saw Soutines that there were easel paintings. I mean, they were the size of a Corot. And what's the reason for it? And I just started wanting to paint like that. It just made more sense. This is after I was out of art school. It was very mannered. The colors, I guess, weren't telling me much since they came out of the tube. They looked, oh, there's some cadmium yellow, there's that Madison pink you get at standard brands. And at the same time, then I started looking at painters that worked in a more muted way, and I sort of found a tradition that went there, Roman wall painting, Morandi, Giacometti. Now I'm dropping names. I spend a long time on paintings. I mean, a very long time. You might want to come over, I'll show you this bathtub. I started that in 1972, and it formerly had a figure in it. And it just sometimes takes a long time. I've always been this way with the physicality of paint. Boy, I could show you the painting. I could show you the painting that changed my life, actually.
Absolutely.
You want me to go get it? This book on Georges Rouault, I knew about him always, but I just couldn't get him at all. It looked, childish again. And I was looking at Impressionism, and I got this about, I guess I must have been 16, and I got this book. And here's a close-up. And I realized this was done by that there was thicker paint, and then other paint dragged over it. So using this heavy paint, you're getting different layers, because the paint, when it goes over the top of other paint, I can probably show you. I didn't think of the paint as much as a color maker as I did as this kind of like a colored clay that you could manipulate, and so my paintings were very, very thick for a long time. An area that might be that I'd want to breathe, like the air, the sky, is right back down to the canvas. And then this is actually closer to you physically in reality than that is. So I was wanting to explore all the possibilities of the paint, not just the thickness of it, but all the very, very traditional things that painters have used, working with a dry brush, working with transparency, using a brush stroke the way you'd use a watercolor. But most of the things I paint are very monolithic. A central monolithic image, a bathtub, a stream, a body of water, horizontal monolith of a body of water. So it receives paint. It's something to hold. At least this is what I've always said in slide talks. Now I say it, I don't think I do this anymore. I've always been trying to figure out, this relationship of paint and what I'm painting, and usually my life filters through it. And it always often comes down to the business of place. It's funny that, because I used to be a very fast painter. Everything that you see is sort of the opposite of where I was a long time ago. I mean, I painted fast. I had colors right out of the tube. I could finish a painting in a session or 2 sessions or something. You know, and it just started to take longer and longer, and I started using more muted tones. I got interested in different painters. Well, the image came through drawings, very old drawings. But probably I'm trying to think more about, now, how do I give this volume? How do I give the bathtub volume? Or I'm thinking about that I want to work in a certain range of colors, or I want to make a whitish painting. Most of the subjects that have been started recently come from right here where I live. There's a stream out in the woods behind. But I'll paint them at different times of the year. But one of my favorite is early spring. And now this is getting to be a nice time too, because things are defoliating. So it's sort of, everything's more stark, like in Chinese painting. They seem to be April. April is a good time, March. The business about a kid who likes to be alone in his room, and I've gotten a lot more like that. You know, I find I'm really happiest here. I feel best in the studio. You know, I mean, I tried being very social in my 30s and everything, and all of that, and I guess I probably said everything. Notice I have a B.
That just came to you, though. You didn't start with it.
No, it just came.
Is it the kind that stinks?
I don't know. Do you remember that the restaurant was at the Source on Sunset Boulevard? Is it still there?
The organic place?
Yeah, I think Woody Allen is in Annie Hall. He orders alfalfa sprouts and a bowl of mashed yeast. Well, they had all these honey pots there on the table, and there were bees swarming around. And supposedly they said they never stung anyone.